Hey guys, what's up? This is Noxella, back with another video for Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate. Right now I'm offline in village mode. I've eaten for Bombardier. I'm using the low rank Lagiacrus set with the Lagombi high rank Dual Swords. And this video we're going to be taking on the village offline Jhen Mohran quest. I'm using level appropriate gear as you saw, and just making this video to help people who are unfamiliar with the fight to show them how they can solo it. First we're going to grab some of these supplies. Some of them are pretty important, especially the ballista binder. You're going to need that to interrupt some of Jhen's attacks. You also get some ballista ammo, and I'm going to be starting off the fight with this. The Jhen fight is pretty formulaic. It starts off with Jhen showing up on the right side of the ship, as you see, and since he's out of range of most other attacks, especially our weapons, I'm going to be focusing on ballista shots. The ballista shots do fixed damage and ignore locational defenses and whatnot. So I'll be focusing on hitting the tusks for now. They're one of the breaks, and they're also very damage resistant. So since the ballistas can be aimed and ignore defenses, they are quite handy for hitting the tusks and working up damage to get the breaks. He's got two of them, but I'll be focusing mostly on the one that's closest. Keep in mind, sometimes Jhen does a sandball attack where he throws some sand at you. Those do have some tracking, so you want to make sure you know when they'll come out so you can get out of the way and won't be in a stationary position. And after he does a sandball attack, when he's moved up close to the boat, he'll do the hip check, and as you saw, I used the ballista binder to interrupt him. The ballista binder is just a ship tool that you can use with the ballistas in order to stop Jhen from attacking the boat. In this quest, you've got a boat, and Jhen can attack it. If he deals too much damage, the boat will break, and then your quest will be failed. There's another tool you can use that's back here, which is the hunting gong. It has a similar sort of mechanism that the Dragonator has, but it, like the ballista binder, is used to interrupt Jhen's attacks. And Jhen is also kind of glitchy. Anyways, since I've got the dual swords, I'm just gonna mainly be demonizing and hitting right now one of two of Jhen's weak spots that are on his back. You can locate them because they sort of stick out a little and are kind of cracked. These are breakable parts, so you want to attack them. And hitting these spots will do more damage than hitting any other of Jhen's spots. Oop. And I am suddenly on the other side. Jhen's kind of glitchy, especially when you're towards the end of his body. The sand can kind of clip onto you. You can fall through him sometimes, but oh well. No big deal. Just gonna keep demon dancing on his back. Right now it looks like Jhen is wiggling, and that's a sign that you should get off soon. I want to get the break, so I stayed on a little longer than I might normally would have, but no, I'm off. And there he goes, flinging about. If you're still on him when he does that, he actually throws you out, deals a fair amount of damage to you, and then you'll have to recover by climbing back onto the ship. In the meantime, gonna get off a little damage on his arm, which is another break. Now that he's moved out of reach I'm going to start gathering some more ballista ammo that you can get here. Right now Jhen is going to transition to the next part of this phase, where he jumps over the boat to the other side. For now, he's not going to do much, but soon he will be getting ready to attack the ship directly. He can do one of two things. One is to ram the ship face forward. The other is to use a belly flop. So hopefully by now either the ballista binder or the hunting gong has recharged, and you should be able to use one of the two again. This is another moment where you want to interrupt his attack. Keep an eye out for whether he does the belly flop or does the face ram. If he does the belly flop now, then you're going to need to interrupt him twice in a row. But he didn't this time, he's just using the face ram. So he'll be using the belly flop in a little bit. Setting bombs up for... never mind. Okay, and now Jhen is going to be coming up close to the ship. Gonna keep doing some ballista damage, but you need to watch out when he gets right up close to the ship. He's gonna attack, so you need to get out of the way. If you go up to the ballista gathering spot and crouch down, you'll be safe. You can also go to the other end of the ship, opposite of where Jhen is, or I think maybe at the top, but I'm not entirely sure. Anyways, now you can jump back onto Jhen, and I'm going to use the anti-dragon bombs on his tusk that we haven't been focusing on. Those will automatically detonate and act like any other bomb. I'm going to power seed up, dash juice up, which will keep my stamina from draining while demonized, and go back to demon dancing. This is the second weak spot on his spine that you can attack and break. Once again, it's a good spot to hit, so you'll be able to get off decent damage and you can get a break. Once you break both spines, you can continue to attack his back if you want. He's also got a couple of mining spots scattered across his back, which are these sort of bluish jutting out scale node sort of things. Either bring in pickaxes and go gather them, or you can grab I think 2 or 4, something like that, old pickaxes that are in the supply box. I'm actually not going to bother doing that since I don't really need any Jhen Mohran parts, which you can get from mining him, so it's not too big of a concern for me. Just gonna keep on doing damage. And part of the reason that I'm using the dual swords is that Jhen is a relatively stationary monster, so it's easy to go demonize and get off your demon dances without any concern. Unlike other monsters which move around a fair amount, making it difficult to make good use of your demonization. I broke off both spine breaks, so I'm going to go back to focusing on trying to get the tusk breaks, and still using the ballista ammo. And keep in mind, the ballista ammo is actually not infinite. There's a certain amount that you can gather for each phase. Right now this is the first phase where we're fighting on a moving ship. So you don't want to make use of only the ballistas or the cannon. I actually am not going to use any of the cannon shots. I generally prefer using the ballista shots since you can aim them, although the cannon does deal more damage versus the ballista shots. The only issue is that you can't aim it, so you can't necessarily target certain break spots. Alright, got the break. And as I mentioned earlier, since he didn't belly flop, he's going to do it later, which is right now, and this is what the hunting gong will be used for, to interrupt him. Sharpen up a little, and attack his underside. His underside is actually one of his other weak spots, but you don't get much access to it right now. Get off a little more ballista damage, and oh, that was a nice shot. Next, Jhen is going to appear far off in the distance. First off, he's going to launch a sandball attack, and then after that, he's going to launch a direct attack on the boat. So right now, he's not really a threat at the moment, but you want to be ready to Dragonate him with the Dragonator, which is right here. Yep, they're good at the sandballs. Right, so the timing for the Dragonator can be a little tricky, since you have to use it to directly counter him, as opposed to, say, Sideus, where you can just use it whenever he gets there. When I use it is when he dives to your left, right about now, and bam, there you go. If you don't get the timing right, Jhen will attack the ship, and he deals a fair amount of damage to you and the ship if you get hit. So it's fairly important to get off the Dragonator. And the Dragonator does actually do a fair amount of damage, so no harm in going for that. Jhen's gonna appear back on this side again. Just gonna get off some ballista shots and jump off. And going back to attacking this spot in here. When you get onto Jhen's back during this sort of the phase, where he's swimming alongside the ship in parallel, you want to be careful where you stand, since if you stand a little further up close to the ship, when he does his hip check on the ship, he can actually throw you off, so that can be an issue. I don't think he's going to hip check anymore, so if you want to stand out here, that's fine. And this is pretty much like the first time when he pops up and swims along the ship. Eventually he's gonna coast back a little and start wiggling, signaling that he's gonna throw me off. So just keep an eye out for when he's wiggling. Otherwise, just go crazy, attack him all you want. Alright, he's moving back, and since there aren't any other breaks that I need, and his arm is now hittable, I'm going to start attacking his arm again. And again, he's got two arms and both have breaks, so you should go for them. Those reward the Mohran braces, which are kind of an uncommon drop, so it's definitely worth trying to get for the break. And as a side note, if Jhen has not belly flopped up to this point, he is probably going to do it after now. So since he's already used it, I don't have any concerns about him attacking the ship. But if you're fighting him and he hasn't, make sure you stay on the ship and be ready to counter that with the gong or the ballista binder. Right now I jumped off just to get some more ballista shots. We're entering the final showdown. That's the second phase of the fight. Jhen's out in the distance, and our ship is fixed in place here. The same thing applies as before. Jhen will still be trying to attack. Jhen will still be trying to Jhen will still be trying to attack the ship, so you still want to prevent him from doing damage to the ship. You still have access to the Ballista Binder and the Hunting Gong, as well as the Dragonator. And if you've used up all your Ballista Gathers at this point, I believe the gathering spot restocks, so you can grab some more if you want. Yep, there we go. Right now he's off in the distance, so I'm just gonna keep using some more ballista shots. He can still sandball, which he's about to do, so make sure you don't stay still in one spot, otherwise you're gonna get hit. And the ballistas, if you haven't gotten the tusk breaks up to this point, you should try to go for those. If not, hitting the stomach or the arms is also not a bad idea. If you hit his stomach enough, he actually gets a flinch where he falls over on his side. In which case, you can either go into his mouth to carve it, or you can get off some significant damage in his mouth. For now, I'm going to do a little bit of both, mostly focusing on the arms since I still want those breaks. And he's kind of far off, but since the Ballista Binder won't really be of use until later, and the cooldown takes long enough, there's no harm in using it right now. So I'm going to go out, start hammering on this arm that we've been working on, and hope we get the break. Use your power seed, use a dash juice, and gonna attack. Do not. Oh, that is another thing you want to watch out for when you actually get next to Jhen. He's got a couple of attacks. He can just move his arm around, and if you get hit by it, you'll get knocked back. You can also body slam the ground, or you can do a big sweep attack. For the most part, you don't need to be too concerned about his attacks. The main ones being where he just moves his arms like that. Just make sure you're not too close, otherwise you'll get hit. The body slam, the body slam isn't too big of a concern unless you're directly under him. So hopefully you aren't, and ideally you'll be attacking the arms if you haven't gotten the breaks yet. The huge sweep is one that you definitely need to watch out for, as that deals a fair amount of damage, and getting hit by it is not a fun time. Alright, there we go. There's the first break. Gonna get a little bit of damage on the stomach while he's flinched. If you're under his stomach as he's walking forward, he can hit you, and sometimes you can get trapped where he just runs you over, so it's a little dangerous to be there. I really wouldn't go under there unless you've gotten all the other breaks and you want to flinch his stomach. Since we haven't gotten this arm break, I'm going to be focusing on that a lot. There's a scream. I haven't talked about it too much, but I'll talk about my equipment a little more right now. I'm using the low rank Lagiacrus set with Tenderizer, Fast Charge, and Grinder or Speed Sharpen gemmed in. Focus is nice for dual swords since it builds up your Archdemon gauge a little quicker, and Tenderizer is always nice since it gives you a little extra damage. It's not as good as it was in Portable Third, where it gave you an extra 50% affinity for hitting weak spots, but It's on the set. Why not? No big deal. I've also put in a fair amount of armor spheres to upgrade the defenses since it is a low rank set and we are in a high rank quest. And I'm using Ice Dual Swords because Jhen is weak to Dragon and Ice. So elemental damage is always nice. At this point, unless you've been playing online, watch out for the belly flop. Gotta interrupt that. If you actually gong Jhen when he's at the peak of the belly flop, he will fall over with the flinch that I described before, where he's on his back and you can go into his mouth. I was a little late on that, so I didn't get the flinch, but I still prevented the hit from landing on the ship, so at least no damage is nice. Gonna head back up and maybe interrupt another attack. Dragonator's back up, so free damage, nice interruption. Whatever, let's just go for it. Alright. And when you land it, you get the handy transition of music. Proof of Hero, I believe it's called. Makes you feel pretty smug. Still need that one break, so let's go back and work on that again. To this point, we're doing pretty well. I don't think Jhen's landed any significant hits to the ship, so the status should be good, or normal. We've gotten almost every break, just got this last one. Still normal. Still working on that break. Oh, and here's the sweeping attack that you need to watch out for. Not sure if that did damage to the ship. Hopefully not. Although we do have plenty of health for the ship left over, so no big deal. I'm gonna run back, use the binder since it's ready. Might as well interrupt an attack. That is a major component of the fight. You want to make sure that you keep your offense balanced between hitting him and preventing him with your defense. Just gotta work on that break a little more. There we go. Now that we got the break, I'm going to try to get the stomach flinch. Hopefully he'll fall over. Not sure if I can get it in time. He's going to belly flop. Get to a safe spot. I'm going back to... Don't think I have... Oh. The gong is ready, but he's not really doing anything. Kinda want to use it to interrupt him. Hopefully he'll do a belly flop. Maybe I can show off the proper timing for the gong flinch. Never mind, that was the wrong attack. Whatever. Going back to the stomach. Let's see if we can get that stomach flinch. And again, it is a little bit of a dangerous spot to be under him, so make sure you keep your timing and your positioning safe. You don't want to get stun locked by getting constantly pushed forward by his walking forward. Is the binder up? No, it is not. Just keep attacking the stomach. The stomach is pretty weak. I think it might be the weakest spot outside of his mouth. Please don't hit me. No big deal. Alright. There is the flinch. I'm just gonna show off that you can go inside his mouth and you can carve it. And again, this is his weakest spot, I believe. So if you don't want carves, you can also go and attack it a bit. Just get off a couple hits. And he's wiggling, so you want to get out of there, otherwise he's gonna flip you over and deal a fair amount of damage. Are any of these tools back up yet? Alright, binder's up. Let's get a free interrupt. Cause why not? Alrighty, going back to the stomach. It's a weak spot, so why not? He is paralyzed, so he doesn't really have any way of harming us. Or, well, now he does. Whatever. Boom. Let's sharpen up, heal up, and stuff. Kind of afraid of getting belly flop, so I'm just gonna. Oh. Okay, why not? Jhen has two carve spots. One is his torso, one is his mouth again. But if you come here where I'm crouched right now, you're actually in position so that you're in between both spots and you don't have to travel too far. And I'm also crouch carving, which will speed up the process a little faster, since if you're standing you have to constantly go up and down through the animations, and that'll eat up a few seconds. And since we have limited time before the quest is up, and Jhen has a fair amount of carves, it's a good idea to try to maximize as much time as we can. There you go, all the carves. I forget, it's somewhere between 6 and 8 carves total. But got them all, so no worries. And that is the Jhen solo video. Hopefully that showed you guys some tips and tricks of how to fight Jhen solo. The dragon blood. There's the brace. Alright. Thanks for watching.